Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm just going to do a quick live stream regarding the situation that's happening right now in Russia, Ukraine, and the things that are going on. And I don't know, it seems like every time we turn around, there's something else that's happening with the Russia, Ukraine situation. And I'm really wondering where this time it's going to escalate to. I think that many of us have seen it coming. And I think the thing is that according to the powers that be, we keep poking and poking and poking in. So again, yesterday, Ukraine was hit. The interior was hit. Russia with U.S. supplied ATACMS with cluster munitions, and the U.S. has really led NATO now openly. They're like discussing these strikes on Russia and the territory, and they're considering actually giving Ukraine nuclear weapons. Okay, and this is my big concern. Hey. Hi, Scan. How's it going? This is my big concern is we're going to give them our munitions, which we all know are really drained at this point of everything that's been happening. But the U.S. on November 25th, 2024, is actually considering giving Ukraine nuclear weapons as the Western military alliance is now basically in a mad dash to start WW2, WW3, WW4. I think that I'm so frustrated with what's happening right now, and we just keep seeing it time and time again of basically really this country just being led right down this major freaking disastrous mess, and I'm sure you all seen it as well. So with Russia and China doing all these things, I think that they're trying to pop it off before Donald Trump becomes and takes office. I really do. Yesterday in Eurasia Daily, they're reporting that NATO is actually discussing the possibility of launching precision strikes on Russian territory. And Robert Boomer, who's a Dutch admiral and head of NATO's military committee, he made the comments noting that NATO should no longer think of itself as just a defensive alliance. And that alone is something else. Turn them over to anyone else. I know, I hear you. There was a new discussion actually though within NATO that they've changed their stance on, and the idea that we're just a defensive alliance, and that we'll just sit and wait to be attacked before responding. So I guess they're saying that it's more competent not to wait, but to hit launchers in Russia in case Russia attacks us. And a combination of these precision strikes is needed. That's what they're saying, because it'll disable the systems that are used to attack us, and that we need to strike first. This is Bauer. He said this, quoted by Bloomberg. So I mean, a NATO leader like Bauer doesn't just say something like this without having basically the prior consent of the United States. And speaking out is really not allowed in a military alliance like NATO. So it's not just Bauer who's like saying these wild and crazy things. The New York Times came in and they raised some questions over the weekend of the West putting tactical nuclear weapons in Ukraine, which is basically another way just to taunt old Putin. And I'll tell you what, folks, I think that, yes, Putin has talked a lot of stuff, but I think that Putin will get to the point that he'll be like a rattlesnake and he will come out and bite. Russia hasn't attacked any of these globalists, none of them. Not one of the 32 members of NATO has been attacked by Russia. So Russia's war with Ukraine and the border war are long, I mean, they've been going on forever with two different Slavic peoples. And you know, I'm sure you've looked into it too, but Ukraine is not and was not a member of NATO. So this admiral's comments, along with those of the mass media from New York Times, are nothing but war propaganda. And I believe it's really meant to provoke Russia and keep the escalation going, and basically to get the fire burning for World War III before Donald Trump gets in office. Because imagine, you know, he had a catastrophe last time. Imagine this time he has to come in and deal with a bunch of bullshit again. So, I mean, I really think that that is what they're doing, is they're poking the bear. They're poking it. Yeah, that's true. We need to quit poking our noses in everywhere else and take care of those intents in North Carolina and Tennessee, right here in our own country, that aren't getting the supplies and the things they need after a catastrophe. But go figure, right? I mean, go figure. I think the really the thing of the West, it's like I it's that Donald Trump wants to end the Russia-Ukraine border war before it does spread into a global conflict. But NATO and other globalists, they're warmongering. And they'd rather ignite a fireball of nuclear war than take a chance on Trump. And that's how committed they are to starting a war. I think even during like the height of the Cold War, we never heard this kind of reckless rhetoric from any Western political leader. None. Or any media outlet that we're hearing like today. We have Admiral Bauer, we have Keir Starmer, we have Emmanuel Macron, and others. And you never heard one of them pop off with an irresponsible comment like this. Of, you know, like actually fantasizing in the wide open about a direct military conflict with the nuclear-armed Soviet Union. So really, if you think about it, these are like really words of craziness. EA Daily said the probability of a Russian attack on one of NATO's countries, including Poland or the Baltic states, is estimated to be very, very low. Even though NATO has crossed every red line set by Putin. And I really don't think that we want this to occur. I mean, our military is so weak. And the U.S. and its allies, they're just continuing to do everything in their power, basically, to provoke the attack. And I think this, if Putin takes the bait, he's going to automatically be characterized as having committed a naked act of aggression against the liberal order, world order, and the democracies. Wow, Scan. You know, I think these puppets, they have no respect at all in any way, shape, or form for democracy. And honestly, I don't think the people of America want war. I really don't. People voted for Donald Trump because he is trying to represent peace. And I don't know how anybody would think war with Russia and America would do anything except be a total freaking disaster. I believe that really here in 2024 and 25, we can absolutely believe that the third world has begun. And I think it's possible to stop it, but will they? That's the thing. You know, that's the big thing. We have so many things happening right now that it does need to concern all of us. Britain and France, they're really not even ruling out sending troops over to Ukraine as part of the European coalition to help support war efforts amid the fears that Trump could pull U.S. military aid to Kyiv. And this is coming in from the French. I think that we're going to see some major things here in 2025. And it may happen before Donald Trump takes office, just to set a real big stage for everyone. And I don't know where we're going, folks, but I know that when we have FEMA, after the North Carolina hurricane victims, they shoved them into tents in a snowstorm and they built 100 sheds. It's pretty damn sad that our government can't take care of our own, but we're always sticking our nose in everywhere else. I think that Russia has put out its final warning to NATO that we'll get the war if we don't stop. And they also threatened us and said it'll be over in 15 minutes. So are they misinforming us? Are they doing this just to put the fear factor in the United States? I think that, honestly, these strikes against Russia are going to set the stage for Putin to have a reason, and that people keep poking him, and he's going to be over it. He's going to be to the total end. We can't, and the other thing is we really cannot hold Biden accountable, because he can't be accounted for anything. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter. He won't be held accountable for anything. I think that many of the people in office have committed treason against this country. I think many of them have been bought and sold, and basically it's becoming just the biggest shit show ever. Where do we go? I don't know. Yeah, they are Dark Owl. There's actually a big report out, I was just talking about it, that we actually have military officers saying that, and NATO saying that we might as well just do the damn thing, which is pretty stupid on the behalf of America with the situation our military's in. Being prior Navy, I watch a lot of military stuff. I watch the maritime. We're being set up for a lot of issues going into 2025. If Donald Trump even is able to take office, we'll see what happens there. But I try to look outside the box and look at articles from all around the world, and like actually see what's happening, other than just mass media, which basically leads us down a dark and gloomy path, because they only tell us what they want. I think that with everything that's going on, I know that I haven't been in the news like I was before on this channel, but these things keep popping up, and I'm like, we need to talk about it. I think that in the United States that we're going to see things that we haven't seen ever in this country. And myself and my mother were speaking the other night, and we were talking about the tariffs. And if this situation with the tariffs happen, folks, we got to realize that it could. I know that Trump has good intentions. I don't believe he has bad intentions. But the problem is this, is with those tariffs and with how reliant we are on China and other countries, most of our manufacturing we don't do here anymore. The majority of it. And so when we start looking at that situation and looking how it could affect the United States, if we put tariffs on these other countries and they start bringing stuff in, we are going to probably be paying double what we are now. And I don't know about y'all, but the crunch is happening around the world, and especially right here in the United States, between hyperinflation, what's happening with the new possibilities of like the Department of Education, social services, and all these other things being dismantled or changed. This, honestly, in my opinion, I do not think this is the time to do it. I think that we have to change things. I totally agree, but I think it's very, very dangerous, folks. And the main thing that we need to do is to keep prepping in every aspect that we can and learn the skills. He needs to worry about getting things for back, and well, and if we would have never, we should have never ever became so reliant, Scam Family, on other countries for the things that we could produce right here. One of my favorite knives is case knives, and we don't even produce them like we used to, along with many other items, transformers. Even like you look at Smithfield and some of the pork producing companies, and we're shipping that stuff overseas to bring it back to the United States. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. And think about the supply and how it's being manipulated when we're shipping it overseas, and how long it could take to get back to us. There's a lot of things to consider But I think the biggest thing, Scan, is you know how I am. We have to stay focused on the good, and we have to stay focused on what do we do to prepare for the economic collapse of the United States. And I think that that's where we're being set up for, is this total economic collapse. I'm going to try to do a live stream this afternoon. I really don't have the time this morning. I have another dental appointment, but with, some people like him, some people don't. But Hal Turner, he does come in with good information, usually ahead of everybody else. And he put out a thing this morning that showed that they actually did pop off some more of our missiles onto Russia, which is huge. Like we're getting so involved in the Ukraine-Russia situation that there's not going to be any backing out. I just wish that the United States, I wish that we would worry and be concerned about our own people, about the people that can't afford housing, the people that can't afford their electric bill, people that can't take care of themselves with food and other items like that. I really believe there was a propane explosion an hour and a half from there. A bunch of chickens didn't make it. Wow. $25 for a dozen. Oh, for six. Still. The thing is there has been, and I think that we need to realize that there is these bombers from the UK buzzing Russia in show force as the NATO chief warns for Europe to brace for total war with Putin. That's huge. That's huge, folks. These jets actually flew over Mad Vlad's most militarized territories, and 2 U.S. Stratoforce bombers have carried out a mission flying near Russian airspace in a show of force to Moscow. I mean, think about that. And, I just talked about it, but when they're talking about Europe needs to prepare for total war with Putin, do you think that that's not going to draw the United States right into the center of the bullshit? We already have a major catastrophe brewing. And I think both military and civilian defenses are stepping up. And the big thing is there's an eye in the sky right now because of these U.S. bombers flying over Europe in a message to Putin to back down. I think there's going to come a point that Putin's going to be like, you know what, you've pushed me too far, let's play. And we also have North Korea, who sent thousands of troops to support Vlad, and last Tuesday embattled Kyiv, and they unleashed the first long-range missile into Russia. So you add all these things up, there's a lot of fear going on that this war is going to spill over national borders, with Germany being the latest country to ramp up their measures to protect themselves. And that just happened on Monday with the 2 U.S. Air Force B-52 bombers. And radar did show that the aircraft departing from RAF Fairfield in the UK, flying over the Baltic Sea and nearing the Russian territory. So, I think that we are setting ourselves up to be right in the middle of WW3, and that we're going to be the leaders to stir the pot. I don't know, folks. I know that the world's paying a lot of attention to what's going on now, the whole world, because it could affect every single one of us. I think the choice with them flying near Kaliningrad, one of Russia's most militarized territories, really highlights and shows the alliance's readiness to counter any aggression, to go for it. Hey, Skip and Tin, good evening. I'm getting ready to get off here because I have a dental appointment. I will come back on this afternoon, folks. I really appreciate everyone. Share out this channel, share out the live, hit the thumbs, and most of all, keep doing the legwork. Don't stop prepping. This is OTWP signing out. I'll see y'all later today. God bless.